Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we brought a special vehicle to you which we had on our testing list for a long while. I'm talking about the BMW M240i. It is a small coupe with a 3-liter 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. This combination sounds quite like fun, but it has a direct competitor from BMW. It is the BMW M2, which costs about 10 grand more, but delivers the same power, the same Newton meters. Now the question is, why should I get the M2 over the M240i or vice versa? That's what we want to find out today, and we want to find out if this is a petrol head car. Okay, we just hopped into the car and let's go through the first impressions. Like always in BMWs, everything is simple and clean in here. I like that. No overload of fancy buttons and stuff. One thing that really is very nice to look at is the speedo. This is a mixture of an analog and digital speedometer. And you can see that if you turn off the car, it turns completely black. That's a real nice detail. You can see all the information you need, for example, oil temperature if you are in sport mode, and if you're in eco mode, you can see your consumption stuff, etc. So speedo is clean, but provides all the information you need and has a very nice visual touch to it. The next thing is the thing you have in your hands when driving. It's a steering wheel. I think it has the perfect size. The thickness is also quite good. It is a bit thicker than I would say usual steering wheels are, but for me it's a perfect fit. And I think even for bigger hands, you can have a good grip on the steering wheel. The pedal shifters are aligned very good. They turn with the wheel, and I think that the touch of the material isn't super bad, but I think it could also be a bit better. I don't know, it's just a personal taste, I think. The reaction you get from shifting is super direct. It's not a double clutch transmission, but still super smooth and fast shift. It's very good. One super important thing are the seats. For me, I always underestimate the seats in these BMWs, because this one is not a fancy sport bucket seat or whatever. It's just the normal standard seat you can get on this car. It doesn't look like very much, doesn't have shoulder support or something like that, but it still is a very sporty seat. It holds you even in faster corners, and on longer road trips it gives you the comfort that you need, and it is adjustable in every direction, so everyone can find its perfect position in here. Let's talk about the driving itself. I think BMW did a not perfect job on the steering. The steering is super precise, as you are used to it from BMWs, but it lacks of feedback. So I cannot feel, even on Sport or Sport Plus mode, I cannot feel the road surface feedback. I don't know what's going on at the front axle. So that is something that I don't really like, but I think that is caused by the trade-off between comfort and sportiness of the car. That part is more on the comfy side. The same applies to the general chassis and suspension setup. It is good, you can drive through corners quickly, but you can clearly feel at higher speeds that all this is at its limits, because this platform that this car is built on scales up from a 113 horsepower engine up to this 340 horsepower engine, and has to match all these different powers, etc. And yeah, with this setup here in the M240i, I think it's at its limits. Also because the weight of the car is quite high with 1,500 kilograms. I think for such a compact car this is a bit too much, but yeah, that's again comfort and all the technology that is packed in it. All that adds weight to the car. Yeah, but other than that, like I said, it's pretty good in corners, etc. But it's not perfect, and that's a point where I think the M2 would also do a better job, because it got that axle set up from the M4, thus it has wider tracks, etc. So yeah, that's something to consider when buying this car, that the M2 would have a better suspension, etc. The next thing that is probably better in the M2, because it completely lacks in this car, is the locking differential. So the M240i does not have a locking differential, and you can't order one, at least here in Germany. And I think with a car with such a horsepower and especially the high torque, I think it is a must to have a locking differential when you are going on the track, or even on faster country road driving, because you clearly can feel if you are surfing through the corners and you are stepping on the gas, that the rear tires, or that one rear tire starts spinning, and you lose so much acceleration with that, because all the power is lost in one spinning wheel. So that's really, for me, the most annoying thing compared to the M2. But there's hope, because you can just add an aftermarket lock differential for, I don't know, 3,000 bucks or something. So you would still have saved some money against the M2. So in terms of negative acceleration, this car does a pretty good job. The brakes are superb. They are a little bit smaller than the ones on the M2, but I think the calibers, etc. are the same. The only thing that I would complain about is the feedback in the pedal. So the feeling that you have when braking, it is a bit dull, I would say. You don't feel very much. But again, probably this is the comfort aspect, but as the brakes should work, they do work, because they stop you if you want them to stop you, and even if you are going on faster country roads, downhill and whatever, in hot conditions, the brakes stay stable. So this is a important aspect on the track, because no one wants failing brakes. The engine on this car, for me, is the core thing that makes this car a real good car. It is a 3-liter 6-cylinder turbo-powered engine, which evolved over time at BMW. I think parts of it are also used in the 3-cylinder and 4-cylinder engines in the BMW line. So yeah, it was well thought of. The thing that I really like about this engine here is that it combines two aspects that you don't find too often this time. It combines a high revving engine, so it can rev up to 7,000 RPM, with a super torquey mid-range. So I think starting from 2,000 RPM, you really have these 400 to 500 Newton meters, plus the power builds up to the rev limiter. That's really a cool thing. So you can have fun with fast accelerations due to the torque, but you also can have fun by squeezing the engine. It's not the same engine as in the M2, but it has this more or less the same power output, and it's a more modern engine than in the M2. The transmission here in this car matches the engine quite good, so the programming is perfect, the timing, etc. Unfortunately, this car is not available as a stick shifter for the people who would like it. I think that would be a decision if you are more on the track side or not. But you don't have this option, so yeah, you have to go with the 8-speed automatic, which is just available for this car. But this automatic transmission does a real good job. It shifts quick, it holds gears. That's a super important aspect for me. So when you are driving through a curve and the engine automatically upshifts, I think that's a no-go when you are driving fast. So there they also did a very good job. One thing that I don't like, you could say it's not super important, but I want to mention is the sound of the car. In the Sport Plus mode, it has a real brutal and throaty sound to it, but just from the outside. From the inside, you then don't hear anything from that, because the car is so dampened because of the comfort aspect. I think that's a real pity and a waste of sound. But you can't do anything about that. You could just put an even louder exhaust on here, but I think that doesn't make sense because it really is already loud and it sounds very good from the outside. So to conclude all this, I think as a whole package, the BMW M240i is a real good car. I like it especially because of the comfort and sportiness aspect. So you can use it as an everyday car. You can bring your children to the kindergarten. You can go shopping. You can go on a longer vacation trip, and you will have no problems at all. But you can also go out with the car, go on the country road, or even on the track, have loads of fun, and yeah, it can do both. Let's come back to the question if you should get this car over the M2 or not. I would say it depends. If you're really on the sporty side, then sure, get the M2, but if there are just some aspects that really annoy you, I would say get the M240i and adjust these things. For me, it would be the locking differential, because I think you lose a lot of power on the country roads. It is not very suitable for drifting, etc. So that would be the only thing that I would immediately change, and then I would save the bucks and go on a holiday or whatever. But really the trade-off between comfort and sportiness, they did it very good. So I think I'm done here. I hope you liked the video and the information I could provide you. If so, leave me a like or subscribe to the channel. And if you are interested in more content, for example, we will do a consumption test, high-speed driving on the German Autobahn, and some country road driving, etc. So you can browse the other content of the channel, or you can be notified if you subscribe to the channel. So yeah, see you next time. Bye.